So you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just to bring you guys up to date, because all of you did not attend the last week, what we are trying to do is that we have a data set of clinical trials, and this data set I got from Novartis. So it's a live data set, and there are more than 436,000 records in this data set of different clinical trials. So last week we just studied the data set. It has got things like I will just show you that. Let me just. There are a lot of data in that. If you okay, let me also share the notes which I shared last week. The notebook which I shared last week. Research handout. Yeah, part 1. So this will be useful for you guys. So where is that? Oh yeah, here is the chat. Attached. Your computer. Okay. Yes. Class 1 handouts. So these 3 handouts I had given last week. So I'm giving it to you also, so you can go through. So if you see the first handout, finding semantic, let me open it for you guys. So here you see that this data set, it has got a lot of data, and let me come to the place where it shows the data actually. Yeah, so it has got all these data. So it has got identifier and study title, URL, acronyms, and all these kind of things. So you can read it. Now, of course, we don't require all of these things, and also we did some exercise in terms of getting only essential part, and which is going to help us into finding semantically similar trials. And so obviously we dropped columns which were not essential or which had problems like major number of missing data and all the kind of stuff. So this entire process of entire logic, whatever was applied. So this is what is explained in this particular handout. Now, so now what I did was that I processed the data, and so now it contains clean data which we can use for finding semantically similar trials. So I load that clean data set, and after loading the clean data set, let's see what it contains now. So we will utilize this data right now for finding semantically similar clinical trials. Today is just we are exploring options. We're not building the complete solution. We are exploring options as to what can be the mechanism. So I will explain to you 3 options today, and I will keep one option for explanation in the next week. So let's go. So what we have is, we have data regarding the study title, brief summary, condition, intervention, and primary outcomes. So these 5 columns, they make meaning in terms of finding semantically similar data. So this is a sample of the data what is available here. So we will make use of this data. So now, yeah, hello. You can ask any question at any point of time. You are free to ask any question, and anything that helps in terms of understanding is welcome. Okay, so now this data set has got 136,000 records. That is after cleaning and pre-processing. The entire pre-processing I could not complete because I ran out of compute time. But after entire pre-processing, I will have around about 270,000 records. Anyway, for making a concept, making a model decision right now, this this much is sufficient, but I will not use this also because it will take a lot of time to process. So I'm taking just 1,000 records, and at the end of the class, if we have time, we will process it on the complete data set. Okay, so I sample out 1,000 records at random from this. So now I have got 1,000 records. Now the first strategy, what I propose is that, okay, what we can do is we can find something called TF-IDF, and then we can use cosine similarity. So now let me explain what exactly this is. So what see right now you are seeing this is the data what we have, right? So machine, to make a model, it can only understand numbers. It cannot understand text like the way we have. So this is a problem. So what we need to do is that we need to find a way to convert these text into numbers. So how we can do that is there are many techniques. Like for example, what I can do is I can go across the complete set of data. I can find out all the individual words, and after finding the individual words, I make a set of unique words. Okay, I can make a set of unique words from the complete data set. Then I find out, okay, in the first record, which words are, so I what I will do is that I will put all the words in columns like this: word 1, word 2, up to how many ever words I found, word n. Then what I do is that I go to each record and I find out which all words appear in this particular record. So in NLP, we do not call record, instead we call document. So the first document, I will find out which all words it contains, how many number of times. Say for example, it contains word number 2 3 times, and it contains word number 10 5 times, and so and so. And other words, it does not contain at all. So it's like I will make, so this is one technique. So if I have this, so what I have is I get something which is numbers, and this number is nothing but a vector. Okay, I can represent this as a vector. And if I can represent this as a vector, then I can represent, then I have got the ability to plot this on a chart. Now suppose, take for example, this vector was only two-dimensional. This is n-dimensional, but suppose the vector was only two-dimensional. If in case it was two-dimensional, then I could have plotted the vector on this graph, and it would be something like this. Right. Similarly, I can plot all the other vectors, all the other documents on this on this chart. Right. I can find all the different vectors on this chart. So they will be at different distances and they will be at different angles. Once I have this kind of a situation, what I can do is that I can find, now each of these lines what I have plotted here, I can project them like this. So this becomes the base, this becomes the altitude, and this becomes the hypotenuse. So when I have this now applying simple basic trigonometry, I know that for every vector I can find the base by hypotenuse, which will be the cos theta. Okay, so which will be the cos theta. So what I'm getting is that for every data point, so this is my one data point, for every data point, I'm able to calculate something known as I'm able to calculate the cosine, right? I'm able to calculate the cosine. So once I can calculate the cosine of every data point, even if it is on two dimension, but so on an n dimension I cannot plot it, but I think you can imagine that I am able to, supposing it is three dimension, it is like this. Just to extrapolate, then the point will be here, here, and here. So I can draw like this. Then I can draw like this, like this. Then my vector will be like this one. So this will become a vector. So similarly, if I keep extending this, I'm able to represent my vector on a n dimension. Any questions here so far? Do you get the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once I have the cosines calculated, then I can check which of the cosines are very close to each other in value. I can set a threshold saying that if the cosines are within this threshold, I say that these are similar vectors. So if I'm able to set that threshold and find out the cosines, then I have a mechanism by which I can find similar vectors. If I find similar vectors, supposing this and this is similar, what it means is that I have found similar clinical trials. Do you get the idea? Does it sound good to you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's implement this and find out how it works. So right now it is on a very small data set, like I told you, only 1,000 records. And if we have time, we will process the entire thing and see how it works out. So let me clear this. Okay. So I have the data. So what I first do is that my first strategy is that I will put all the text of all the columns in a single column. Okay. I take the text from all the columns, like this text. I will concatenate for every record. I will concatenate the values across all these columns. So I will do that. So I combine it. After combining, if you notice that if I just see this, so now I have got a column which containing the combination of all the different data what was there in the individual columns, that is study title, study what do you call brief summary, and conditions, interventions, everything now put into a single column. Okay, so now I have got this. What I now do is that I need to find out from among this data what is the vocabulary size I should maintain in my model, so that I am representing the maximum amount of data. Okay, so how many words I should definitely keep in my model, so that I have a very representative data, a representative model. So for that, what I will do is that I will do some calculation, and I will the graph I let me generate the graph. It will become clear as to what it is doing. Okay. So let's see what it has generated. Okay. So now you see that what it is saying is that as the vocabulary size is increasing, this is the vocabulary size on this axis, and how much of the documents it covers. So as the vocabulary size increases, the amount of coverage of the document increases. And here, if I take the complete data set, you will see that this graph will be something like this. Okay, not this, like this. 1 minute. It will be something like this. So as I increase the number of words, the coverage of the document, it initially it increases very largely, and then its coverage will slowly settle down. Okay. Now in NLP research, one law which states that this will definitely happen is called the Giff's law. The Giff's law states that the coverage of the documents is inversely proportional to the amount of vocabulary what is there. So initially we will have a lot of gain, but later on we will not have much gain. Anyway, that is a theory, not to worry. So basically what we're doing is that we are figuring out what percentage of the vocabulary we should retain in our data, so that we have the maximum coverage to make our model most efficient. So now I calculated that at 1,000 tokens or 1,000 words, it is giving 75% coverage, 76% coverage. At 6,000, it is giving 98% coverage. So then I calculate the gain what I'm getting in terms of increasing the vocabulary size. So if you notice that the gain is decreasing and I've set a threshold of 10 to the power minus 6. So where is the threshold I set? Yeah, 10 to the power minus 6 threshold. So when my gain by increasing number of words, it does not increase very drastically, then I will stop increasing my vocabulary. So by applying this logic tells me that currently for the 1000 records, I require to have a vocabulary size of 6464. Okay. So if I keep this, it will give me maximum coverage of all the documents what I have with me. Documents are the records or the clinical trials. Okay. So any questions at this stage? Did you understand what I tried to explain?
Yes. Vocabulary coverage.
Okay. So once I have that, now what I do is that so I am going to make the TF-IDF. That means to say what I now have 64 words which I have taken. So I will try to do this up to W6464. And then for every document, I will find out the TF-IDF. TF-IDF is two parts. One is called TF and one is the IDF. Now TF stands for term frequency. Term frequency means how frequently the term is. Term here these are not NLP words. Term refers to the words. In our case, every word is a term. Okay, but term need not be a word. In the current situation, it is a word only, but it need not be a word. It can be also a phrase and things like that. But don't worry about that. Currently, understand the term basically refers to a word in our case. Now, term frequency basically says that how frequently the term is occurring in our entire set of data. The entire set of data in NLP terms is known as the corpus. Okay, this is the corpus. If you go through the last week's recording, I discussed this. So if you have a confusion, you can just get it from there. So if a word appears very large number of times across the documents, then its term frequency will be very high. On the other hand, IDF is the inverse document frequency. The inverse document frequency, what it does is that it gives us high score to the terms which are very rare in the document. Okay, the very rare words will get a high IDF value, and the ones which are more common will get a low IDF value. So then what I do is that if I multiply these two, the term frequency and IDF, what it does, it gives a balanced score for every word. So it takes into account the heavy utilization of the word through term frequency, and it takes into account the rarity of the word in terms of IDF. So if I multiply these two, I get TF IDF, which gives a balanced score for every term. So I will apply this logic, and for every document, I will find the TF-IDF score across every word that I have. This is what I am doing next. So I am computing the TF-IDF across the entire data set. Let me clear this out. Okay, so let us compute this. Now this step will definitely take a lot of memory, and it will take a lot of time. You will notice that even for only for 1000 records, it will take time. So what I've done is, instead of trying to process everything in a single shot, where I will definitely face a situation where my machine will run out of memory, I am doing it in chunks. I am processing it in batches of 20,000 records. After processing 20,000, I am saving it to the disk, and then again picking up the next 20,000 and processing and saving it to the disk, and so and so. So by this technique, I can take care of the fact that I don't require a very huge machine. Instead, I can also utilize a reasonably sized machine to get this job done. So let's do it. Okay, it has done it. So now you see that here our the vocabulary size was 6464. So now it has created a matrix of 1000 records and 64 number of columns. Okay. So I have my TF-IDF ready. Once I have my TF-IDF ready, now what is the situation is that the 64 is also a very large number. Okay. I do not it will take a lot of processing if I utilize the entire 64. Another problem is that if I use all the columns, then there is a high chance that my model will overfit. We don't want that. So what we will do is that we will reduce the dimensionality of this data, and to reduce the dimensionality, let us find out to what extent we should reduce the dimensionality so that we have the best model to create. So this is here I am applying a technique known as SVD. SVD stands for singular value decomposition. This is a mathematical formulation. So I'll apply this technique called SVD, and I will try different values of number of components and check out where I will get the maximum benefit. So let us execute this step. So it is calculating for different values and try to figure out where I will get the maximum benefit. Okay, so let us see what it gives us. So here you see that it is telling me that if I take somewhere around about this many number of components, this many number of components can explain more than 90% of the data. That means if I take the entire data set, it will explain the 100%. But by reducing the number of components from 64 to somewhere at this point, this explains about 90% of the data. So this is, or if I am not so convinced, I can go for a slightly higher margin. Here also, it will explain 95% of the data. That means to say, by reducing the dimensions, I will not lose any meaning of my data. Okay, you got it. So instead of 64, if I keep my number of variables to, this is somewhere almost 700, this is somewhere little bit more than 800. So if I do this, I will have the data which with all its characteristics, yet my number of dimensions will reduce so that my processing capacity required is reduced. Do you get the utility of this? Any questions?
Got it. Question.
Okay. So at 90%, I require 710 components, and at 95%, we require 760 components. So what we will do is that we will use 90% variance, and we will keep 710 components. So now we have got the data ready, or we have got the data ready in terms of what we have is now we have the 1000 records. We have the 1000 records, and for every 1000 records, we have got 710 number of columns. So this is a vector. I have created a 710 component vector for every record. So now what I can do is that I can utilize this vector to find cosine similarity. Correct. That is a strategy what we were. So now I will utilize these vectors, and I will try to find similar clinical trials by applying cosine similarity. So let us do that. So now you see, based on the cosine similarity, it is saying that for this particular clinical trial, these 5 are similar, and the cosine similarity score it is giving, it is similar by this much. Now, we are using a very small data set. That is why you're seeing the similarity scores to be very small. But when we utilize the complete data set, you will see that the similarity scores are in the range of 80%, 90%, and so on. So this technique I can utilize to find similar clinical trials. So are you guys convinced that this technique can be utilized?
I'm just wondering why was 90% coverage, sorry, variance chosen instead of 95% variance.
No, no, that was just a decision. I can change it. Let's say I can change that decision. Where is that best 10 at 95? If I put it as 95%, I do that. That is a design decision. So
Like for efficiency of running the
for
model,
efficiency.
or
For efficiency, the thing is that right now you are not feeling the heat basically because I have got a very small data set. But if I utilize the complete 100,000 records or 150,000 records, these two numbers will not be so close to each other. Oh, wait, 1 minute. Okay. These two numbers will not be so close to each other. It will make a huge difference. Maybe this is going to be 15,000 and this is going to be some 1,200. So in that case, you have to make a decision whether how complex model you want or how much amount of processing capacity you are ready to expend. That is where your decision will hinge.
got it. Thank you.
Sir, once TF-IDF is used, we get the importance of each word.
Yeah.
What is the how important is each word? Then after that, when we are applying SVD, so are we applying SVD on the important words that have been sorted out, sir?
Yeah. See, the thing is that, let me again repeat this. I found the TF-IDF, right? And the TF-IDF gave me a huge vector, right? It gave me a huge vector. For every data point, I got a huge vector. Now my problem is that these vectors are quite huge. These in our case, each vector contained 64 number of components. Right? There are 64 components in each vector. Now this vector is very large, right? So if I can reduce this vector to a smaller number, like we have reduced to 710, then without losing any meaning of the data, then my processing will become much more simpler. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
But the thing is that I should reduce in such a manner that I don't lose any meaning from the complete data. That is why I am using the technique called SVD, which will ensure that I reduce the dimension and at the same point of time, I do not lose any meaning or any signals which is there in the data.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I
Yes, sir.
have tell me. Go ahead, Priyanka.
So it was not me, sir.
No. Whosoever that was,
Just responded as yes, sir. We got it.
no problem. So we have our first technique for finding similar trials. So this works. Now, in this case, what we did was that we combined all the columns of data into a single column and then found the TF-IDF. What we can also do is that, what if we do not combine the columns? Instead, we find the TF-IDF of every individual column separately and then combine the TF-IDFs. So the technique is that I take the first column, find its TF-IDF. It will give me n number of columns, right? Then I take the second column, I find its TF-IDF. It will give me another. Then I take the third one, and after doing that, I find the individual TF-IDFs and then combine the TF-IDFs. So this will again make a vector which I can utilize for finding similar trials. Do you agree or not? Did you get the strategy? No? Yes?
Yes.
No, can you repeat this, please?
See, last time what I did was I combined all these columns into a single column, right? And then
Correct, yeah.
single column, I found the TF-IDF. So it gave me a huge vector, which was 64 in size, right? Instead of doing this, what I'm now proposing to do is that I do not combine the columns. Instead, so this was a combined column, first column, second column, third, fourth, fifth, like this. Instead of that, I take the first column and I find its individual TF-IDF. Okay. Then I take the second column and I find its individual TF-IDF. Okay. Then I take the third column and find its individual TF-IDF. Like this, I repeat for all the columns separately.
All the columns. Okay, got it.
Okay. After having found the individual TF-IDFs, I will combine the TF-IDFs side by side. So this will form a single record, single vector for every document. And I can utilize this vector for finding similarities. Yes or no?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So let's implement this. So I have these individual columns, and now I'm making a dictionary of TF-IDFs. So I will create these TF-IDFs individually. After creating the TF-IDFs individually, I will stack them together. Horizontal stacking, that is, I'm stacking side by side. So it will give me a single combined TF-IDF. That is the whole strategy here. So let us do this. So it has done that, and now I have a TF-IDF of 15,062 components. So I have a vector which contains 15,062 components. So the next step is I want to reduce the dimensionality of this. So I again figure out what is the best dimensionality reduction I can do. So I will apply SVD and let it compute and tell me what is the best dimensionality I can reduce it to. Just almost okay. Now you see that it is telling me that at 90% is red. So this is 90%. So at 90% I'm getting 760 components, and at 95% I require 860 components, and at 97% I require 910 components. So I can make a decision as to where I want to stop. So here I have taken how much? Okay, I will calculate the marginal gains. Okay, so wherever the marginal gain is not too much, I will stop at that point and I will take that as a number of components. So in here it says that the marginal gain stops increasing at 960 components. So that is 960 components is way beyond 97% also, maybe at 98, 99%. So at this point my marginal gains stop increasing, so I will restrict myself, I will reduce the data set to 960 components. Okay, so now this must be very clear to all of you. So I reduce my data set to this many number of components by applying SVD. So now I have 1000 records and each record has got 960 number of components. Okay, then I apply the same technique of finding similar clinical trials. Only thing is now the vectors are bigger. So if I do this, I will interrupt this. Why is it running? Oh, this has got some bug. So what I will do is that I will just rerun up to this stage. Okay, so I will restart and run before. So now let it run little bit time it will take, but it should show me similar trials. Just give it a little time, let it process. What stage is it right now? Okay, we're almost done. Okay, and now let it find similar trials. So you see that at random I chose one and it is giving me similar trials. Okay, this technique also works. Do you have any questions so far? Are you
No
convinced
question.
that the technique is working?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Yeah.
now we have taken two strategies. Now the obvious decision will be like which strategy we will ultimately apply, right? So how do you propose that? I will discuss one more strategy also, but before that, how do you propose that we will compare two strategies? What will be our technique? What can be our technique? Any proposal?
Human review.
Yes, human review is the only way. But how can I help the human in terms of reviewing? We have a technique by which I can do that. What I can do is that I can take samples like I have taken this one, and I take the similar trials what it has found. Then what I do is that I take the text of all these similar trials. Okay, I take the text. I have got these five columns right now. I take the text from all the five columns of these similar trials, and I can form a word cloud. If I form a word cloud, the word cloud will say that in these trials, what are the most prominent words? Correct. If I give that picture to the human, then he can go back and study this clinical trial which he is trying to find similarities for, and from the word cloud he can make out whether this is really similar or not. Do you think it's a decent approach? It can help the humans.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we could do that. So I will show you that next week. Now let us go through the third model which I am proposing. This is a transformer model. So the transformers are the latest technology. Okay, did you notice anything so far in terms of why we tried these techniques that I discussed with you so far? What do you think was significant in the techniques what I discussed so far? Did you find anything significant in the techniques I discussed so far? Do you think that the techniques what we discussed so far they were transparent? We could compute the complete algorithm manually. Do you think that was possible? It is possible, right? Yes or no? You guys are not convinced it is possible?
Probably because I am very new to this, so maybe I'll not be able
No,
to
but by
answer. Yeah.
understanding the logic that I explained, could
Just
I
a logic.
term frequency? Could I compute the IDF? All this is formula, right? I could apply.
Right, right.
If I have enough patience, I could calculate everything what I discussed so far manually.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes,
that
yes.
is possible.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Humanly not possible, but there's too much data, but we can do it.
I mean, it is possible, right?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
There are scientists who have that much amount of patience to do that.
Okay.
So if in case, what do you call? If in case it is required, this technique can be computed by hand by humans. Okay, that means to say what? The technique is completely transparent. There is nothing hidden about it. Okay.
Correct.
Why that is important? Because in medical or in healthcare, explainability is very important. If a decision is made, I should be able to explain how the decision was made. So the techniques I discussed so far, it is possible for me to explain how the complete decision has been made. That much part you are convinced?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we come to another technique, which is the transformer, using transformer. Now, transformer, is a neural network, and neural network, here the problem will be that I can apply this technique, but I cannot explain it because neural networks are black boxes. Yes.
Yes,
You are
sir.
explaining. Yeah.
So now the thing is that when you are making your design choice, you have to ask the business what is more important. Accuracy is more important or explainability is more important. If accuracy is more important, then you will go for maybe transformer. I do not know right now whether it will perform better or not, but it is likely that it will perform better, right? But if explainability is more important, then you will fall back upon TF-IDF. Is that choice clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm applying the transformer, and transformer requires embeddings and all this kind of thing it is doing. Don't worry about that. And it will find the similarities and give me the output. So, in any case, I do not know how the transformer is working, but I can see some data to figure out whether it has done a decent job or not. So now you see that this transformer technique also, it takes a particular trial and it is finding similar trials for that trial. So this technique also is working, but like I told you, the only problem with this technique is that explainability. I can make a visualization by seeing that what are the terms it considered for making the similarity check, and these terms, if their meanings are close by to each other, then it is likely that it is making a right decision, right?
Right.
Is the technique clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we discussed 3 techniques today, that is 2 using TF-IDF and 1 using transformer. So do you want to see this same run on a slightly larger data set? Is that of your interest?
Yes, sir. So if we run it on a larger data set, will we see it being more accurate?
Could be. Not only could be, it should be.
Right.
Right. So let us run it. We won't have time for running. Oh, let us try the entire thing. Let us see how much time it takes. Let us try the entire thing. So where is that sample? Yeah. This is 130. Let me run it on the entire data set. This is 136,000. 136,000. Okay. So let me start it and let me see how it goes. So Combination is over. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is the next decision point. What happened? Incompatible dimensions for axis 1. Highly of chance. Why is this? Let me take the help of Gemini. Let me see what it tells me. Still face the problem. Now you can continue the next one. Error has been resolved. Okay. Ah, why it ran through the smaller data set correctly? Okay. I have to debug this, but let me just reduce it and check whether it will work or not. Let's reduce this. There's something wrong when I give the complete data set. I have to debug this. Anyway, now it says I require a vocabulary of 11,604. And see that I told you that Zipf's law is working here, right? You can see clearly how Zipf's law is working. Okay. Now let's go to the next step. Yeah, it has done this. It is asking me for 64 number of matrix shape. Why is it 64? The number is coincidental or it is correct? Vocab size is okay. Okay, the number is coincidental. So, oh, this is not required. Sorry. Okay, now I go ahead and I reduce the dimensions. Okay, it is calculated. Now, where did it fail? Trial index. Oh, Okay, guys, I require to. What I will do is that I will debug this. I will make it proper, and then I will share it on the LinkedIn announcement page so that you can download it. Is that fair? And also, I did not get enough time to explain the whole stuff like I did last week. This week I was extremely busy, so I will do that also, and I will send you. But the concept is clear, right? Whatever we discussed today.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I could answer that, or we will. I will work on this and make it proper and send it across to you guys. Right?
Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.